My wife left her laptop open and I noticed a folder titled Memories. When I clicked, it asked for a password. Hours later, I finally cracked it. And my hands started shaking. The last video? Labeled for when he finally finds out. I took screenshots, called my lawyer, and left her with nothing. My name is Mark, and I've been married to Sarah for 8 years. We live in the Lakeview neighborhood of Chicago, a vibrant area known for its historic architecture and proximity to the lake. We met during our college years at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Sarah was studying graphic design, and I was immersed in computer science. Our paths crossed at a mutual friends art exhibition in Pilsen, a neighborhood celebrated for its rich Mexican culture and art scene. Our connection was immediate. Late-night study sessions at the Harold Washington Library turned into coffee dates at local cafes in the Loop. After graduation, we decided to tie the knot and settled into our cozy condo near Belmont Harbor, enjoying morning walks along the lakefront trail. Last Tuesday started like any other day. I had wrapped up a project for my IT consulting firm and decided to take a break. Sarah had left her laptop open on the kitchen island. As I went to move it aside, a folder on her desktop caught my attention. It was labeled Memories. This struck me as odd. We had always been diligent about organizing our shared photos and videos in a joint cloud account. This folder wasn't part of that. Curiosity gnawed at me. I clicked on the folder, but a password prompt appeared. My heart began to race. Why would Sarah have a password-protected folder on her personal laptop, especially one named so sentimentally? I tried our anniversary date, her birth date, and even Lakeview, but none worked. That evening, after Sarah had gone to bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. I sat down with her laptop, determined to access that folder. Remembering that Sarah often used our dog's name combined with numbers for passwords, I tried Buddy 2015. To my astonishment, it worked. The folder opened, revealing numerous subfolders labeled with dates spanning the past 3 years. My hands trembled as I clicked on the most recent one. Inside, I found a series of photos and videos of Sarah with another man. They were in various locations around Chicago, dining at a restaurant in the West Loop, attending a concert at Millennium Park, and even sharing a picnic at Grant Park. The timestamps indicated that this affair had been ongoing for at least 3 years. I felt a mix of rage, betrayal, and heartbreak. Then, I noticed a video file named for when he finally finds out. With a deep breath, I clicked on it. In the video, Sarah sat on our living room couch, looking directly into the camera. She began to speak. Mark, if you're watching this, it means you found out. I never wanted you to discover this way, but I guess it was inevitable. I know what I've done is unforgivable. I can't explain why I did it, but I want you to know that it was never about you. You are a wonderful husband, and I've been selfish. I'm so sorry for the pain I've caused you. I couldn't watch anymore. I closed the laptop and sat in silence, trying to process everything. Taking action the next morning, I contacted a lawyer. I needed to understand my rights and the steps to take next. After our meeting, I decided to gather all the evidence I could. I took screenshots of everything and backed up the contents of the Memories folder onto an external drive. That evening, I confronted Sarah. I told her what I had found and that I wanted a divorce. She broke down, begging for forgiveness, but I couldn't see a way forward. The aftermath, the divorce process was swift. Given the evidence, I was able to secure a favorable settlement. Sarah moved out, and I've been trying to rebuild my life since. It's been a few months now, and the pain is still fresh. I never imagined my marriage would end this way. I'm sharing my story here because I know I'm not alone. Infidelity is more common than we think, and the betrayal cuts deep. To anyone going through something similar, stay strong. Surround yourself with supportive friends and family, and don't be afraid to seek professional help. Healing takes time, but it is possible. Thanks for reading. Mark. After Sarah moved out, I thought the worst was behind me. I was wrong. What happened next almost ruined everything I'd built, not just my marriage, but my business, my reputation, even my sanity. About a week after she left, I got a strange email. No subject line, no sender name, just an attachment and a message. You think you know everything. You don't. Watch this before you do something you regret. The attachment was a video. I stared at my screen for a long time before clicking. It was footage, hidden camera stuff. I recognized the office instantly. It was mine. My private home office. The footage showed me working, pacing, on video calls. Nothing incriminating. But the fact that someone had been watching me, inside my own house, was chilling. I changed the locks that night, put up new security cameras, and called the police. They sent someone to take a report, but without proof of a break-in or who planted the camera, there wasn't much they could do. The next day, I got a call from one of my oldest clients, big account, someone I'd worked with for years. He sounded cold, said he needed to pause all activity with me. No explanation, just done. That was the beginning. Over the next 3 days, I lost 4 clients. All with vague reasons or no reason at all. I was panicking. This wasn't just bad luck. Someone was sabotaging me. I reached out to a buddy who works in cyber forensics. He owed me a favor. I asked him to dig around, see if he could find anything about that email, the footage, anything suspicious on my networks. 2 days later, he called me. I'll never forget what he said. Mark, there's a smear campaign going around. Private forums, Discord groups, even anonymous email threads. Stuff about you, claims of fraud, misconduct, even screenshots of fake conversations where you're supposedly harassing clients. It's coordinated. Someone's out to destroy you. I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. And then it hit me, Sarah. But I had no proof. Not yet. I decided to play it cool. I texted Sarah, casually, just asking if we could meet to talk things through. She agreed. We met at a coffee shop near Lincoln Park. She looked tired, but calm, like someone who'd already moved on. I tried to read her, to see if she'd crack. I told her I was losing clients, that someone had hacked into my life, and I had a strong feeling it was her or someone she knew. She stared at me for a long moment, then leaned in and whispered, "You shouldn't have opened that folder." That's all she said. Then she stood up and walked out. I didn't even finish my coffee. I sat there, stunned. Back at home, I went back into the memories folder. I dug deeper, into subfolders I hadn't opened. There were more videos. Not of her and the guy, but of me. Me on the phone. Me typing. Me sleeping. She had been spying on me for months. Maybe years. I found logs, timestamps, notes. It was all there. Every word I'd ever said about my work. About my clients. About her. She was building a case. For what? I didn't know yet. But it felt like she had been preparing for this. Like she wanted to destroy me. I contacted my lawyer again. Told him everything. We started building our own case. Digital evidence, logs, metadata, every piece of data we could verify. But I still didn't know who the guy in the videos was. He wasn't just some random affair. He was involved. Then came the twist I never saw coming. One night, my lawyer forwarded me a document. It was a subpoena from Sarah's new attorney. She was suing me for emotional distress, for hacking, for defamation. Her lawyer? The man in the videos. It was him. And suddenly everything made sense. This wasn't just about cheating. This was planned. This was a setup. From the beginning, I was being hunted. And now, I was about to fight the biggest battle of my life. After finding out that Sarah's new lawyer was the same man from the videos, my head was spinning. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured them laughing behind my back, planning this whole thing like some twisted game. It was never just an affair. It was a trap. And I had walked right into it. The subpoena accused me of hacking her private files, violating her privacy, causing emotional trauma. My own lawyer was furious but cautious. "This is aggressive," he told me. "They're pushing for damages and a full audit of your business dealings. If we don't move fast, they might destroy your company." At this point, my business was hanging on by a thread. I had lost 7 clients. I'd already laid off my assistant. One of my bank accounts had been frozen after a tip was sent to the IRS suggesting I was cooking my books. Completely false, but I knew exactly where it came from. I tried to get in touch with Sarah again. Not to talk. Not for closure. I needed answers. I needed leverage. I messaged her through Signal. "Meet me. One last time. You owe me that much." To my surprise, she agreed. We met at a park in Hyde Park, quiet and far from downtown. She came alone, wearing sunglasses and dressed like someone trying not to be noticed. I had my phone recording in my pocket. I confronted her directly. "You're working with him. You planned this. Why? What do you want from me?" She didn't deny it. "I want everything," she said calmly. "Do you know how long I waited for you to screw up first? But you never did. So I had to create the mess myself." I stared at her, speechless. "I wanted out," she went on, her voice cold, but not empty-handed. "And he helped me figure out how. You made it easy. Always so trusting. Always so predictable." Then she left. I sent the recording to my lawyer immediately. He told me it was risky using it, but it might help later if things went to court. I thought I had reached the bottom of the pit. But there was more. 2 nights later, my friend in cybersecurity called again. "You need to see something," he said. He sent me a video clip. It was security footage from a bar in Wicker Park. My business partner, Kyle, was sitting at the bar. Across from him, Sarah, laughing, drinking, hugging. My heart dropped. Kyle and I had built the company from nothing. He was my best friend. We'd been through everything together. I had trusted him with every client, every dollar. And now, he was sitting with the woman who was trying to destroy me. I confronted Kyle the next day at the office. He denied it at first. Said it was a coincidence. Said he didn't know she'd be there. But when I showed him the footage, his face turned white. "She said you were dangerous," he whispered. "That you were spiraling. She asked for my help, just to get back on her feet." I fired him on the spot. Then, another blow. My email account, my personal one, was hacked. Emails I never sent were forwarded to multiple clients. Messages that made me sound unstable, aggressive, even threatening. More fake evidence. This was war. I had to fight back. My lawyer and I filed a counterclaim, defamation, malicious interference with business, and fraud. We subpoenaed phone records, cloud accounts, financials. We traced IP addresses, timestamps. We dug into the lawyer's background too. Turns out, he had been disbarred in another state 10 years ago for unethical conduct, before somehow getting licensed again in Illinois. We weren't just fighting back now. We were hunting. But just when I thought I was gaining ground, one more twist knocked the breath out of me. I got a message from an unknown number. Just a single line. "She's not done yet. Check your office safe." I didn't even hesitate. I drove straight to my home office, opened the safe behind the bookshelf. Everything looked normal. passport, backup drives, a few legal docs. But when I lifted the bottom lining, there was a small voice recorder tucked underneath. I hit play. It was a conversation between me and a client months ago, one where we discussed a sensitive project. Nothing illegal, but if taken out of context, it could sound bad. Sarah had been in my office. She had planted this, and God knows how many others. She was trying to ruin me legally, professionally, and financially. And worst of all, she might actually succeed. This isn't just about cheating anymore. This is something darker, something calculated, something evil. The day of the confrontation, I felt like a man walking toward his own execution. Everything I had, my business, my name, my dignity, was on the line. Sarah and her new lawyer, the same man she'd been sleeping with behind my back, had filed an emergency hearing. They were trying to freeze my remaining assets, claiming mental instability, misuse of business funds, and harassment. The courtroom was packed. Some of our mutual friends were there. A few clients had shown up too, no doubt curious after the rumors Sarah had carefully fed into their ears. Kyle, my ex-business partner and now confirmed traitor, sat 2 rows behind her. My lawyer had warned me, don't speak unless you have to. Let the evidence speak for you. As the proceedings started, Sarah's lawyer stood with smug confidence. He painted me as a controlling husband, emotionally abusive, paranoid, spiraling. He played heavily edited voice recordings, showed altered emails. He looked directly at the judge and said I was dangerous. I felt rage boiling in me, but I held my tongue. Then it was our turn. My lawyer stood, calm but with fire behind every word. He handed over a flash drive to the judge. Your Honor, what you are about to see and hear includes unedited recordings, GPS data, and metadata from digital files that were altered to frame my client. The room was silent as the judge watched the footage I had recorded of Sarah confessing she set me up. He listened to the audio from my safe. He read through the tech analysis showing the fake emails had originated from Sarah's IP address. Then came the final blow. We submitted the evidence that Sarah's lawyer, her lover, was disbarred years ago for fabricating evidence in a fraud case. My lawyer revealed that we had already filed a grievance with the state bar. And then I stood. I had to speak. I looked at Sarah, really looked at her, and I said, I loved you. I gave you everything. I trusted you with my life. You didn't just cheat. You didn't just leave. You tried to erase me. Her face didn't change at first. But then the judge asked her directly, Ms. Reese, do you deny these recordings are your voice? Do you deny this is you in the footage? And for the first time in months, Sarah cracked. She started to cry. Not dramatic tears. Real, shaking, silent tears. And then she said the words that turned the room cold. I didn't mean for it to go this far. The judge looked stunned. Ms. Reese, are you admitting to these claims? She nodded slowly. And just like that, the whole charade unraveled. Her lawyer jumped up, trying to call for a recess, but the judge shut it down. He called for an investigation into her lawyer's past and dismissed the case against me completely. People in the courtroom gasped. One of my old clients even came up after the hearing and apologized, said he wished he'd never believed the lies. Sarah tried to talk to me after the ruling. She came up outside the courthouse, shaking, asking if we could talk. I didn't answer. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I walked away. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, the place I'd moved into after everything blew up. It was quiet. Too quiet. I wasn't happy. I wasn't victorious. I was just tired. Kyle texted me a half-hearted apology later that week. Said he was misled. I left him on read. Sarah sent a long email, full of guilt, half-excuses, and a strange tone of nostalgia. I didn't reply. She didn't get arrested. But her lawyer did. And she lost most of the settlement she tried to claim, plus legal fees. I went back to work. Slowly, a few clients came back. I hired a new assistant. I took long walks down by the lake and let the cold wind remind me I was still alive. I wish I could say I've moved on completely. That I've healed. But some wounds don't close clean. Some just stop bleeding. I learned a lot. About trust. About watching for red flags. About how dangerous charm can be when it's hiding a knife behind its back. Would I ever trust someone again? Maybe. Not today. Not tomorrow. But someday. I'm not angry anymore. Not really. What I feel now is something heavier. Something slower. But at least I'm free. The truth came out. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't cruel. I was just the man who loved the wrong person too long. And now, I'm just a man learning to live again.